I want to tell you a story about a man named Tobin Atlas. Today, Tobin is calm. He sleeps well. His money works while he rests. He can walk into a room and not need it to notice him. But I have to be honest with you. 5 years ago, Tobin was none of those things. 5 years ago, he was loud, tired, and quietly drowning. And the strange part, the part that took me a long time to understand, is how he got from there to here. He did not get there by adding more to his life. He got there by letting go. One by one, Tobin stopped caring about 15 specific things. And the moment he dropped each one, his life got lighter and his bank account got heavier. This is the story of those 15 things. You will recognize a few of them because you are probably still carrying them right now. Let us begin where Tobin began. Before the story really starts, the legal part. I am not a financial advisor. I am a drawn-on character in a sparkly dress whose entire qualification is that my daddy, Mr. Johnson to the rest of you, owns the building, the cameras, and technically me. So treat this as a story with a lesson baked inside, not advice tailored to your exact life. For the real money decisions, talk to a licensed professional who does not report to my dad. All right, back to Tobin. The first thing Tobin let go of was the need to look rich. Back then, Tobin was the loudest man at every party. He wore the brightest labels. He told strangers what his shoes cost before they even asked. He thought that was what winning looked like. Then one night, he met a quiet man in a plain gray shirt who said almost nothing, ordered a glass of water, and could have bought the entire building they were standing in. That was the night Tobin learned the difference. The loud man was auditioning for wealth. The quiet man already had it. People who study money have a name for that quiet kind. They call it stealth wealth. And here is what clicked for Tobin. The louder the lifestyle, the more likely it is running on debt and a prayer. The car says I am winning. The bank statement says, please do not look too closely. Tobin realized he had been buying things to impress strangers he would never see again, while the quiet man was buying something that did not come with a logo: freedom. So Tobin set the labels down, and that single choice pulled the thread on everything else. The second thing Tobin dropped was the opinion of the crowd. For most of his life, Tobin performed for an audience he could not even see. The imaginary jury he believed was watching and grading every move he made. The truth was, they were not watching at all. They were too busy worrying about their own imaginary jury. But before Tobin understood that, he carried their voices everywhere. Picture him walking through life with a backpack, and every opinion he absorbed was a brick someone handed him. You should buy a house already. Brick. Why do you still drive that? Brick. When will you get a real job? Brick. Tobin hauled 200 pounds of other people's bricks and could not understand why he never moved forward. The day he set the backpack down was not the day he became rude. It was the day he did the math. The people grading his life were not the people paying his bills, so he stopped letting them vote. Quick pause in the story. If Tobin's journey is hitting home, subscribing is the cheapest investment you will make today. $0, one tap, and the next chapter of money lessons comes straight to you. Now, back to Tobin. Actually, stand up for 1 second. Yes, you. Picture Tobin handing you the heaviest box of his old habits. Now, drop it on the floor. Feel that? 13 lighter ones to go, and the story only gets better from here. The third thing Tobin let go of was the need to win arguments that paid him nothing. The old Tobin would fight to the last breath in a comment section. He would spend 2 hours and all his energy proving a point to a stranger, and at the end, he would win exactly nothing, except the feeling of being slightly less wrong for about 10 minutes. Then one evening, he watched a wealthy mentor do something strange. In the middle of an argument, the mentor simply stopped, smiled, and walked away. Tobin asked why. The mentor said he treats his attention like it is expensive, because it is. Every minute spent proving a point to someone who will never change their mind is a minute stolen from building, learning, or resting. The mentor asked himself one question: do I want to be right, or do I want to be free? That night, Tobin pictured 2 people, one typing a 9-paragraph reply to a stranger, the other closing the app and going to sleep. 5 years later, only one of them owns property. Tobin decided to be the one who walked away. The 4th thing Tobin stopped caring about surprised even him: the $4 coffee. Now, this is not the lazy version where you spend money you do not have. It is sharper than that. Old Tobin obsessed over the tiny leaks while ignoring the giant hole in the boat. He would drive across town to save $2 on gas, then quietly overpay $300 a month on rent, car payments, and subscriptions he forgot he even had. His mentor showed him a picture he never forgot. Your money is a bathtub. The small expenses are little drips. The big expenses are the drain sitting wide open at the bottom. You can mop drips all day, but if the drain is open, the tub never fills. So Tobin closed the drain first. He got ruthless about 3 things only: housing, transportation, and the cost of borrowing money. And once those were handled, the coffee truly did not matter. The 5th thing Tobin walked away from was the chase for a good sale. He used to feel a real rush when something was 70% off. He would say, "I saved $50, and his mentor would gently correct him. "You did not save $50. You spent $80 on something you were not even looking for an hour ago. The store just handed you a reason to feel clever about it." Tobin realized sales are built by very smart people to poke at one thing: the fear of missing out. The clock is ticking, only 3 left. Everyone is buying. The brain panics and the wallet opens. So Tobin changed the question he asked. The old question was, is this a good deal? The new question was, do I actually need this at all? One question filled a closet with bargains. The other kept his money in the game. And the money he did not spend went straight toward the next thing he learned. The 6th thing Tobin gave up was the belief that there was only one way to earn. Show up, work an hour, get paid for an hour, repeat until you are 65 and tired. Tobin had lived that way his whole life, and he kept hitting a wall. The wall was simple. There are only 24 hours in a day, and you cannot sell hours you do not have. Old Tobin was a phone that only charged while it was plugged in. Then he learned one word that changed his entire life: leverage. Building or buying things that earn money whether he was awake or asleep. So Tobin filmed himself fixing a car one time. 1 million people watched it for years. He got paid while he slept, while he traveled, while he did nothing at all. Same skill he always had, completely different math. He did not quit his job overnight. He just slowly stopped renting out his hours and started owning things that paid him back. The seventh thing Tobin stopped caring about was owning expensive stuff that got cheaper the moment he touched it. His proudest purchase used to be a brand new car. Then his mentor pointed out that the car lost thousands of dollars before Tobin reached the first red light. It was not an investment. It was a very comfortable way to set money on fire. That is when Tobin learned the rule that split his whole world in two. There are only two kinds of things you can buy: assets and liabilities. An asset puts money into your pocket. A liability pulls money out. Most of the rich-looking things Tobin used to buy were liabilities wearing a costume. He did not become anti-nice things. He still wanted the car. He just changed the timing. He bought the toys after the assets paid for them. A toy bought with leftover money is a reward. A toy bought with borrowed money is a trap. Tobin finally learned to tell them apart. Still with us? Good. Do future you a favor and subscribe so the next story like this finds your feed on its own. The version of you with real savings will thank the version of you sitting here right now. The eighth thing Tobin let go of was treating his credit score like a personality. There was a time he wore his score like a trophy. He would have framed it on the wall if he could. Then he learned what it actually is. A credit score is a measure of how good you are at borrowing money and paying it back. It is a report card for debt. A high score is genuinely useful. It earns better rates on a house or a business loan. But it is not the scoreboard for being rich. You can have a perfect score and be completely broke. You can be a millionaire who barely touches credit. Old Tobin chased the number and took on debt just to raise it. New Tobin treats credit like a tool. He picks it up when it helps and sets it down when it does not. He does not worship the hammer. He just uses it to build the house. The ninth thing Tobin dropped was the addiction to being busy. He used to say, "I am so busy," like it was a flex, as if exhaustion was proof that he mattered. His calendar was full. His results were empty. His mentor explained the difference between busy and effective. Busy is answering 90 emails. Effective is the one email that closes the deal. Busy is doing 10 things poorly. Effective is doing the one thing that moves your life forward and ignoring the rest. Old Tobin was sprinting on a treadmill, sweating hard, going absolutely nowhere. He lived by a rule he never noticed. The thing that pings feels urgent. The thing that actually builds your future, the side project, the skill, the plan, never pings at all. So it never got done. The day Tobin stopped chasing busy and started protecting focus was the day his work finally started to pay. The 10th thing Tobin questioned was the idea that he could simply outwork everyone. He had heard it his whole life. Work hard and you will make it. And hard work did matter, but Tobin noticed something. If hard work alone made people rich, the hardest working people on earth would be billionaires. They are not. They are often the most underpaid. So Tobin upgraded the question. He stopped asking, "How hard am I working?" and started asking, "What am I working on?" He pictured rowing a boat as hard as he possibly could, straight at a wall. All that effort just hit the wall faster. He compared digging a hole with a shovel for 10 hours to spending 1 hour learning to run the excavator. Same goal, only one of them changed his life. From then on, Tobin aimed first, then worked hard at the right target. The 11th thing Tobin let go of was collecting people he would never actually call. The old advice was network, network, network. Hand out cards, add everyone, collect followers like trading cards. Tobin's phone was full of contacts who did not know his name, and it was worth nothing. His mentor framed it as fishing. Casting 1,000 tiny hooks into the ocean catches nothing. Building a few real ponds, relationships where you genuinely helped someone and earned real trust, catches everything. So Tobin stopped trying to meet everyone and started trying to know a few people deeply. 5 people who respected him did more for his life than 5,000 who tapped follow and forgot he existed. And the way he built those bonds was simple. He stopped trying to take and started trying to give. The 12th thing Tobin gave up stung the most, the need to look smart. For years, his ego told him, never admit you do not know something. Nod along, pretend, look confident. Then he watched his mentor do the opposite. The mentor was the first person in any room to say, I have no idea. Explain that to me. Tobin realized the mentor would rather feel dumb for 30 seconds than stay dumb forever. Pretending to know things is one of the most expensive habits there is. You cannot fix a problem you refuse to admit, and you cannot learn something you are busy faking. It is like being lost while refusing to ask for directions. Some people will drive in circles for an hour rather than roll down the window. Tobin learned to pull over, ask, get the answer in 10 seconds, and move on. Looking smart kept the old Tobin lost. A little humility got the new one home. The 13th thing Tobin stopped believing was the timeline he was handed at birth. Go to school, get a job, work for 40 years, retire at 65, and finally enjoy your life. Tobin looked at that plan and quietly said, no thank you. Not because retiring is bad, but because trading his healthiest, strongest decades for the chance to maybe enjoy life once his knees were gone was a strange deal when he said it out loud. The traditional path treated his whole life like a sandwich, where the only good part was the very last bite. So Tobin stopped designing his life around an age and started designing it around a number. The goal was not a birthday. It was the point where his money earned enough money that he no longer had to work. That can happen at 65. With the right moves, it can happen far sooner. It had nothing to do with how old he was, and everything to do with how early he started and how steady he stayed. The 14th thing Tobin refused to keep carrying was 5 quiet words. That is just how it works. Those words had kept him stuck for years. He finally saw that the normal way of doing things produces normal results. And normal, when it comes to money, is paycheck to paycheck. Every business that ever made someone rich began with a person staring at the usual way and asking, but why? Why own an office? Why need a middleman? Why does this cost so much? Tobin realized the whole modern economy was built by people who refused to accept the default setting on life. It was like everyone playing a video game on factory settings, never once opening the menu. So Tobin opened the menu. He poked at every rule and asked whether it was actually real or just a habit everyone agreed to. He did not reinvent everything. He just stopped assuming the standard path was the only path. The 15th thing Tobin protected was the one that secretly controlled all the others: his time. For most of his life, Tobin guarded his money like a dragon and threw away his time like trash. He would argue over a $5 charge, then scroll for 4 hours and feel nothing. Then the hard truth landed. You can always make more money. You can never, ever make more time. It is the one thing the richest person on earth and the broke person share in equal amounts. Tobin finally understood it was the only thing that could not be replaced. So he started protecting it like the rarest asset he owned. He said no to things that did not matter. He paid to skip the things that drained him so he could pour his hours into what actually counted. He stopped trading his one non-renewable resource for things that did not move his life forward. And that, more than any single trick, is how Tobin Atlas became the calm man you met at the start of this story. So here is Tobin's whole journey in one sentence. Every single thing he let go of was the same lesson wearing a different mask. Stop wasting your time, your money, and your energy on things that do not make your life better. Looking rich, winning arguments, chasing sales, being busy, all the same lesson. And the moment Tobin adopted even 3 of these, his life started to change fast. That is the quiet truth behind the whole story. The richest people are not the ones who collected the most. They are the ones who let go of the right things at the right time. If even one chapter of Tobin's story made something click for you, the smartest move you can make right now is subscribe, because this channel is the money lessons school somehow skipped, and I would hate for you to miss the next story. Then drop a comment and tell me which of the 15 caught you red-handed. I am betting it is the first one or the 5th. Prove me wrong. Here is your natural next step. Tobin's story does not actually end here, because letting go of these 15 things was only half of what he did. He also replaced them with a small set of quiet habits that built his wealth almost on autopilot. That is the next story, and it is the other half of this exact puzzle. And here is the honest part. Tobin had help that most people never get. So down in the description, we built that help for you. Ebooks and financial calculators that run the boring numbers while you go live your life. Think of it as Tobin's old notebook handed straight to you. The links are right below. Go open it. I will see you in the next story.